It's alive! It's alive!
Hey guys, I'm here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. How are you all doing? I'm doing great. Sit back, relax. Probably going to be a long one because we're going to review every 158 legendary champion that I've ever maxed out on my account over the last 3 going on 4 years here in Raid Shadow Legends. So we're going to try to be pretty quick in today's video, but I want to hear from you guys. What I want to do is kind of be transparent with you, right? Because the truth of the matter is, I have not spent a ton of time with every single one of these legendary champions. So if there's a champion that I'm really on the fence on, or if I haven't given them enough time, enough kind of play testing, then I'm just going to be honest with you guys and let you know, because I don't want to give a review on a champion that I haven't played a ton of. But the majority of them I have played a ton of, so I will be pretty honest with these champions. What other disclaimers here? Oh, the gear. Most of these champions, not most, maybe half of them, I don't really use that much anymore, right? I used them at one point, so now they're just muling artifacts around. I don't like to keep them totally naked because sometimes I use them maybe in a faction war team, but that's it. So don't judge, you know, all the champions on how I have them equipped, but I will make some notes along the way on champions that I do use a lot in terms of how I have them built. So let's just start with Siphi, the Lost Bride. I say she's the crown jewel of my entire account, guys. She's +4. She has a blessing. I thought about making the world's strongest Siphi video, but she's not the world's strongest Siphi. I think that there's better Siphis out there, believe it or not, especially fully awakened as well. Anyway, I have Intimidating Presence on her for the aura, and she's an A+ champion, right? She's an A+ champion. I built her with a ton of, you'll see here, a lot of power, and that means a lot of resist on this champion. So total stats are absolutely insane, very fast, 317, a lot of defense, a lot of HP, and a ton of resist as well. With a 2-piece stone skin, hey, 8% HP and 40 resistance, you can do a lot worse. So A+ on Siphi. A+ on Molly Tankard as well. I have her built pretty fast, 291 with a lot of defense. She's a reviver, a lot of accuracy as well. She's a reviver, but also a provoker. 2-turn provoker, 50% chance. Incredibly good champion. I actually did make a video on Molly recently, so you know, more thoughts on that in that video. But yeah, A+, I think she's an A+ champion, especially, man, if we're taking this long to go through the champions, the first 2, it's going to be a long video. I'm going to try to speed things up a little bit here, but the Rowdy Crowd fills a turn meter of all allies by 15% when this champion is hit. Turn meter of all allies by 25% when this champion is hit by a boss on a 1-turn cooldown. That is an insane passive. All right, Fushan. I got a +4 Fushan here. I don't use him that often. He's a great nuker, has some CC in his kit as well. I wish they'd change the shred to an AoE attack. I'm going to give him a B+. Trunda, I'm going to give Trunda an A+. Yeah, an A+. I mean, she's a nuker who has 23 freaking K HP. I mean, what? They don't make them like Trunda, guys. 2 incredibly hard-hitting attacks on Cloak of Ages and Forge Rhythm. You can place her, you can have her as a burner in your team as well. So I have her built here just for, you know, a lot of damage, essentially. I could definitely stand to gain more on the crit damage. Tried to minimize the accuracy as much as I can because I want her getting that second hit, but really trying to maximize the attack. I have her in attack percentage on the boots there, so we'll give her an A+. You can't get much better than her when we talk about nukers. Krilla, Witch Arm, I'm going to give her an A. She's one of my favorite ally attack champions in the game. She has a 3-turn ally attack in Blinding Glow. It is with 3 random allies. She also brings an AoE attack with increased attack and increased crit rate on a 4-turn cooldown. A little kind of annoying shield to go against as well. I have her in a Relentless gear, as you guys can see. There's the masteries that I have. I have Helm Smasher mastery on her. I wonder why. I would definitely change that to War Master, and actually I should. It's kind of nice to go through your champions every so often, right? And kind of say, hey, why do I have that mastery? You know, sometimes you're dumb back in the day when you pull these champions and you forget to look, you know. But either way, she's one of my favorite ally attackers out there in Krilla Witch Arm. Fantastic champion. Nethril. So Nethril is so underrated, man. The one thing about him is I really wish they'd buff his base speed. They've been doing that with a lot of champions, a lot of legendaries. I would love to see Nethro around 99 speed, you know, 100 speed even. So Plarium, if you're listening, give Nethro a little speed buff, because his kit's great. An AoE, chance of a stun here, decreased speed if it's not placed, and then a turn meter 75% reduction on a 4-turn cooldown on Bat Swarm, plus the 3 poisons on his A1. So really, really solid champion. An OG, but definitely, I'm going to give him an A. What did I give Krilla? I'm going to give Krilla an A. I'm going to give Nethril A minus. Now we have Lisandra. I mean, these are some amazing legendary champions here, right? Trust me, there are going to be a couple Ds in here, at least. Maybe an F or two as well. Lisandra is an A. Speed in all battles. She's got the Energize. She's got increased speed. She's got the Exhaustion. Fully depleting target's turn meter on that A2. It's nasty, man. Nasty for Fire Knight. Nasty for Dark Fae as well. Just have her basically as fast as I could get her, you know? Not my best speed gear on the account, but 325 speed, not too bad. Some accuracy to make sure she's landing that A3 and the A2 as well. I don't use her in PvP. Otherwise, I want that accuracy to be even higher. Mccabe. Oh, what a great champion. I'm going to give him an A as well. Tempted to go A+ on this dude. Increased speed, increased crit damage, true fear, and a leech, and an extra turn. Yeah, A+. Am I crazy? Especially with Hydra Clan Boss. Has an AoE attack on enemies under leech, which he's bringing basically on a 2-turn cooldown because of the extra turn. That's absolute insanity. This champion is so good. Really, really love him again, especially with Hydra. He used to be the worst legendary champion in the world. He received a just godlike buff. Tomb Lord. He received a buff too, man. It's weird when it's awesome when they buff a crappy champion like Mccabe, worst in the game, right? Dracomorph, same thing, right? But a champion like Tomb Lord, he was already good, and they buffed him again, man. Okay, whatever. I have him in a regen build right now. This is so he can solo stuff, although I don't think I use him currently to solo anything. I do use him, however, on my Poison Combust team. So I use him on Fire Knight and Ice Golem on my main teams. Even, I think, Anti-Affinity, I'll use him, just because this is just fantastic, right? 4 poisons on everybody on a 3-turn cooldown. Also, bring the debuffs, decrease attack, decrease defense, and some turn meter control as well. Triple hitter with decreased speed on the A1. A on Tomb Lord. Gaius the Gleeful, A. Again, I really love Gaius the Gleeful. He's on my first ever bomb team in the arena. I made a video on that somewhat recently. Has an AoE sleep. He's putting bomb on everybody as well. He's ignoring unkillables. He's instantly detonating bombs. And then when he dies, he is instantly detonating all the bombs on all enemies as well. Really love this dude. I have Brimstone on him for a blessing as well. Man, one more and I can have him fully +4 Gaius. It's going to be insane. Really enjoy this champion. I have obviously maximizing his accuracy and maximizing his attack. So A there. Dracomorph is A+ for my money, guys. Draco's a beast. I have him out of Relentless. I had him in Relentless. Now it's just a broken, totally broken sets all over the place here. What the heck am I doing here? I need to speed tune him for my Clan Boss team, but I want to get him back into Relentless gear. So he's pretty fast. You know, just an all-right build, frankly. It could do a lot better, right? But either way, his kit is insane. He has surplus damage here on his A1. He has 4 poisons here on his A2. Then weaken and decrease defense. What a champion. War Master Mastery on him. Another, like I said, A+ champion. We have Ray here up next. Ray, I don't really use that often. I think I might only use her in Dark Elves Faction Wars for stage 20 farming. But not to say she's a bad champion. AoE on every attack. She has a freeze. She has decreased defense as well on her A1. I think she's solid. She also has a speed in dungeons by 33%, so nice aura for dungeon farming. I'm going to give her a B. Just a really solid champion, but not one of the best snookers, but great for PvE environments as well. Okay, Morden Mccabe, I'm going to give him a B+ now. I would say he used to be a C champion, but this Peril with Stone Skin gear, as you can see, I have him on a 4-piece, is just such a deadly combination. I made an arena team with him and Ultimate Death Knight in Harvest Jack. Check that video out, guys. It was my latest Ultimate Death Knight arena video. Man, I love that team. It's one of my main 3 tag team arena squads that I have on my account. So I have him here, a little shy on the crit rate, 97, 208 on a go second team, and really just a lot of HP on this champion. And we just unlock that Peril, and we wait to kill everybody and deny their revivals. So I'm going to give him a B+ now. Ninja, A+. One of the best boss killers in the entire game. I got so lucky. He's my highest blessing champion in the game right now on 5 stars. We have decreased defense on the A1. Hailburn just does so much damage. AoE freeze as well. Has the escalation. I mean, Ninja's just an absolute boss. I don't want to rub it into those of you who started playing after Ninja was released, but what a great champion. Battle Khazar will give him an A+ too. I'm sorry, man. I'm throwing out a lot of A's. I'm the easiest teacher you've ever had in your entire life right now. But Malice is so freaking good still. You know, it's an OG champion with OG kit, but we got the cleanse, we got continuous heals, we got poisons on all enemies for 2 turns. Dude, he's just a boss. Simple kit, but what a good champion. I have him in a Relentless set. Can also run him in Reflex. So, you know, whatever you guys got going on, whatever you have in terms of artifacts. 280 speed, so I have him really fast and enough accuracy to land those poisons as well, some defense. Really like this build, really love this champion, especially in the Relentless. Getting more of those Malices, it's insane, especially in Ice Golem, just insane champion. Duchess, A+. I haven't chosen, excuse me, her blessing, yes, but her blessing yet. What am I saying, man? 6-piece stone skin on my Duchess because she is carrying one of my arena teams with Hefrak. We'll get to in a moment here. But she's still the best reviver in the game for my money. An AoE revive on a freaking 4-turn cooldown with 70% HP, Veil, and continuous heal on everybody. That's so good. Then she has a block debuff, increase attack, perfect Veil on all allies except this champion on a 4-turn cooldown, and really this Ethereal Ways is just an insane passive, guys. The constant damage mitigation, you guys know I'm a massive fan of that here on a bunch of different champions. We'll talk about some more as well, but decrease the damage all allies take from AoE attacks by 25%, 15 from bosses. That's huge. 25% in the arena, it's just massive. That's a big version of strengthen just built into this champion, right? To all allies. So what a fantastic champion. I do have her built with some resist as well, trying to resist the removals of the stone skin, and some speed, right? Some speed, a little bit of defense and HP as well. So that is my Duchess. We have Drextar Blood Twin. We'll give Drextar a A. I mean, Drextar's great. I have him in regen, so he can solo a bunch of Doom Tower bosses. I'm currently using him to solo the Frost Spider, and he has this passive, right? Was placing an HP burn for 2 turns on the attacker when he's hit, and with regen gear, it's easy to keep this dude alive. I have almost 70k HP, some defense as well, and some speed, and that's all we really care about. It's not even that instrumental that he's getting critical hits, because the HP burn is doing most of the damage, especially in solo builds. Also has a heal on his A1. So really, really good champion that everybody should have eventually, at least, right? We have Helicap. A+, man. He's the best unkillable or block damage champion in the game for my money. 4-turn cooldown, block damage for 2 turns, replaces it with an increased defense. He's got the shield as well. He's got the weaken on the A1. It's just a really, really good champion. Great addition to the game. Has the defense in all battles on the aura as well. Where is it? 30% defense in all battles. Just, man, I love Helicap, dude. I love that champion. All right, Angar. Ah, man. I made a lot of you guys hangary. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know why I do this to you. By dissing him a little bit, I pulled the 3-star blessing of Angar in a video, and I was just like, dude, Angar, meh. But you guys, I gotta say, about 30, 40 of you guys in the comments, just let me have it. It is unloaded. The Angar fan club, I heard from you guys. Listen, I stand by. I still think he needs a buff, but he's not trash. And I said in that video, he's not a trash champion. An AoE provoke is great. You know, it's great. And a provoke on the A1 as well. So a great provoker, right? Great decay provoker. But he just, I want something with a little bit extra, you know, it brings something a little bit more to the table. His damage isn't bad for an HP-based champion either, but to me, he's still lacking for a Void Legendary. With all due respect to the Angar fan club, I'll give him a C. Again, I'm grading on a curve here because I do want a champion, a Void, to be really freaking good. Raglan, I will give her a B+. Raglan used to be an A+, one of the best champions in the game. I do think she's been power crept just slightly, right? There's a lot of compelling revivers that have been added to the game since, you know, she was the first batch of Void champions ever added to, or ever in Raid Shadow Legends, right? She has a 2-turn cooldown with a full turn meter. That is an amazing ability. There's no better single target revive than this. However, now the game is, we're really looking for 2 things out of a champion like Raglan. Number 1 is we're looking for or not like Raglan, but out of Reviver, we really like those AoE revivers, right? Because sometimes you need more than 1 revive at a time. The good thing is you got you covered with only a 2-turn cooldown. But it's really the A2. removes all the a cleanse and then a heal based on her attack, right? And it does scale quite a bit based on her attack. So this is like one of the better champions out there in the game. Don't get me wrong. So maybe even A minus, B plus, whatever. I'm not trying to rag on Raglan. You see what I done there? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Dad jokes for days. I'm not trying to rag on Raglan, but we really love these cleanse. To have a reliable cleanser on in a mid to end game team, we're looking for that 3-turn cooldown. That is now the standard in Raid Shadow Legends. So, you know, if they made this a 3-turn cooldown, be fantastic. But for me, a champion that I used to use a ton, I'm finding I lose her less and less and less. However, all that being said, she's still a fantastic champion. I just have random gear on her here. Just really, really solid reviver. One of the best, again, single target revives in the game. Necret the Great, A+. One of my favorite champions in Raid Shadow Legends. I have a 6-piece stone set and a stone skin set, and I'm building another one soon. I mean, just there's really not a lot of better support champions than Necret the Great. He has ally protect, block, debuff, strengthen, ally attack on the A2. He has decrease attack on the A1, triple hitter on the A1, extra turns if he's not killing anybody on the A2. He's replacing the shield, or he's putting a shield on people who get attacked with his ally protect, and he's also starting each turn with a block, debuff, and a strengthen, and a 6 freaking turn ally protect on the champion, lowest max HP. I mean, for the arena especially, I have him in temporal chains as well. Built in with a little bit of HP, defense, speed, basically everything I could get, or a lot of resist to, with Stone Skin gear. Stone Skin so good for the arena, obviously. Archbishop Pinthroy, man. Ooh, you guys know I have like an A+, by the way, A+. This dude is like one of my favorite champions in the game. I'll just put it that way. I was trying to be, how hyperbolic should I be here? I have him in Relentless set. I just love this dude, man. A lot of HP, a lot of defense, a lot of speed, some accuracy, some resist as well. We have transferring debuffs on the A1. We have increased accuracy. We have heal reduction on all enemies. We got block buffs on all enemies. This is on a 3-turn cooldown. And then on the A3, we got increased defense. We got a shield as well. And we have a heal. And with Relentless gear, I usually can get this down from a 4 to 3-turn cooldown. This dude is bringing so much to the table here, especially for Hydra. He's definitely my favorite Hydra champion, and he always goes on my #1 team. So I'm a big, big fan of Archbishop Pinthroy. We have War Master as well. Lydia, another freaking A+ champion, guys. Lydia is hard to get, man. Kudos to any of you guys out there who have her. But when you get her, you will, you won't regret all the time that you spent toiling over those faction wars, guys. Let me tell you, she's insane. This ability, Siren's Wail, with a decreased defense, the weaken, the strength, and the increased speed, all in the same freaking ability, should be illegal, man. That's so good. You can lock somebody out here with the A3 nullification, and then you can deny revival attempts as well. She's one of the best champions in the entire game. And Nithwi, Blood Twin. I'll give him a B. They did give him a buff. This No Mercy, it's pretty hard hitting. The cool thing about him, though, is signature. They improve the multipliers slightly on Tormenting Whispers. He's definitely a viable arena nuker because of this passive, Final Doom. Enemies killed by this champion cannot be revived. He has it on just anybody he kills cannot be revived, which is nice. His damage, his multipliers aren't out of this world, considering he has one of the highest base attacks in the entire game at 1729. However, they're not awful. So, if you're just looking for a deny, revive, nuker, Nithri can definitely get the job done. I would definitely recommend Helm Smasher on this champion as well to ignore that defense, right, in Savage Gear. Warlord, A+. I mean, Warlord, right? Of course. So I have him in 600 accuracy. It's crazy, but I don't use Warlord right now, okay? I used to have him in Stone Skin 6-piece set for the arena, had him fast, had him with some resist as well, but now I'm using Yumeko a little bit more. Nothing against Warlord at all, just kind of the teams that I have assembled right now, but this Orcish Rituals is one of the best abilities in the game. 100% to put each target skills on cooldown. Block debuffs will not block that. We also have a chance at fully depleting each target's turn meter on the same ability. Also brings a shield and a block debuffs, man. This dude is so freaking good. So good, man. But yeah, if I was going to use him again, which I probably will soon, I would probably build him with even more accuracy. I have a triple perception set, but, this is not high enough on the accuracy to get by higher in the arena at 600. Really aiming for like 800, or pairing him with an increased accuracy champion on the same team, such as like Yoshi the Drunkard or something like that. All right, next up, or Lady Kimmy, who we'll get to in a minute. Wither the Crowned. I'm going to give her an A. She's one of the best healers in the game, an AoE with a leech, continuous heal, and a random ally on the A1. This is just the A1. We have increased defense. We have increased the duration of continuous heals, instantly activates in continuous heals. Then we have a cleanse on a 3-turn cooldown with a heal. Now that is a support kit, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's insane. Continuous heal on the ally lowest HP at the start of each turn as well. Again, if you're looking for a healer, look no further. I have a curing set on her. Just get a little bit extra out of those heals. I actually like curing set. So yeah, I'm one of the weirdos out there who actually likes it. We have Brackus the Shifter. I have him kind of half naked in a Swift Parry. I used to use him in Swift Parry, you know, maybe a year or two ago in the arena. I don't use him now. He's a good raw damage dealer for Clan Boss as well. A 6-time hitter. 6-time hitter on his A2, and then this hard-hitting Hunter's Howl. Then he comes back to life, and he does more damage, too. He's one of the original kind of OG Halloween champions added to the game. I like Brackus the Shifter. He has a triple hitter or a 4-time hitter on it. Triple? 1 hitter on the A1, but I still went with Giant Slayer anyway because of the 6-time hitter on the A2. But man, I don't use him as much anymore. I'll give him a B. Nothing against him at all. But again, just like with all these champions, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it pertains, you know, or it has to do with what other champions you have on your account, what teams you're using, and what you value on that specific team on that specific account, right? So nothing against a B rating here. Rosin Scarhide, I'll give him a... There's another champion who I'd love to see his speed buffed, right? 91 is too low nowadays for a legendary. Way too low. Other than that, this dude's a beast, so I will give him an A-, right? He has a triple hitter on his A1, chance of removing buffs. He has the decreased defense and the weaken on 3-turn cooldown, single target based on defense damage. He actually deals a significant amount of damage. Then he has a 100% turn meter reduction on Bog Down on a 6-turn cooldown. So great for control, great for boss debuffer as well on that A2 ability. Great for Fire Knight with a triple hitter on his A1. So overall, just a really, really solid champion. Have him in Giant Slayer as well. And I said this already, but he can deal some damage, so don't negate that fact when you're building your Rosin Scarhide. Scartorsus. So Scartorsus has an AoE with a chance of stealing a buff on the A1. He has increased attack, increased crit rate on all allies, and then he has removes, has a cleanse on a 4-turn cooldown, then heals them and fills their turn meter. The amount of which each ally is healed increases according to the number of debuffs removed from them. So it's a great ability, Rebirth, but it's a little unpredictable. It depends on what they have on them, and it's a 4-turn cooldown. He does have that cool A1, which is fairly effective in Hydra Clan Boss, and then he has speed and done by 33%. So he's not the worst champion in the world, but he's not a champion that, frankly, I use anymore. I'm going to go ahead. He is speedy. I like his base stats. A lot of defense, a lot of HP, and a lot of speed. Pretty decent support champion. I'm going to give him a B. Brogni, A+. I mean, I can't give Brogni anything but an A+. He has an AoE, he has a removing a buff, he has the shield growth ability, he has the block debuffs, the increase attack, the shield can't be removed, and then he has the reflecting damage on anybody under a shield with the heal as well, man. This guy is just he's a boss, man. Underpriest Brogni is a boss. He does so much, you know. He's an HP burner, his A1 too. It's like they just kept throwing things at him. Like, let's have him do more. Have him heal him too. Oh, let's have him grow shields, you know. A quintessential part of the world record clan boss team in the entire game as well. Love Brogni. Love Brogni. Rotos the Lost Groom. Listen, man, I had to switch around some gear a little bit. I actually am not using my Rotos Arena team right now, but I need to get this crit rate up to 100% for back when I do use him again. Right now, my Rotos and Siffy team is under construction. But this Fate of Destruction, even after his kind of nerfs over the years, still one of the hardest hitting single target abilities that does ignore unkillable and block damage as well. Get an extra turn and can go right into that hard hitting A2 if you kill somebody. I'm still a massive Rotos fan. I'm going to give him an A. One of my favorite single target nukers out there in the game. We have Lanicus the Chosen, another ally attack champion. I really love Lanicus the Chosen. I'm going to give her an A-, especially because, well, she has kind of similar to Krilla. She has increased attack, increased crit rate on her A3 ability, but increase the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn, right? That's a really, really sneaky, nice add-on to an ally attack ability. So that's why I'm a big fan of Lanicus. She also has a continuous heal on this champion on the A1. Just help herself stay healed there. I don't like her quite as much as Krilla, but I like her a lot, okay? Next up is going to be Norog. I'm going to give Norog a B+. I I'm a big fan of the pig. You guys know that. I've been watching the channel for any amount of time. I actually use him on one of my Hydra Clan Boss teams because of two things. Number one, I have him in Guardian, so absorbing some of the damage. Number two is I built him, pretty fast. 245 on the speed. Built him with a little bit of crit rate, a little bit of crit damage as well. Accuracy could stand to be a little bit higher, but check this dude out, man. This is the cool thing about him. He has that block buffs on a 3-turn cooldown, right? And then this passive, right? He's immune to stun, freeze, fear. That's cool, right? But decrease the damage. Where did I say fear here? Stun, freeze, sleep, Ash. Come on, bro. Decrease the damage allies take it by... Jeez, man, this passive is really screwing me up here. Decrease the damage taken by all allies that are under 1 or more buffs by 15%. Allies under no buffs, decrease the damage they're taken by 25%. That's not just AoE attacks, that's straight up damage mitigation. That is one of the strongest passives out there in terms of damage mitigation, right up there with Duchess, right? So have War Master on him for a little bit extra damage. He actually puts out a significant amount of damage too for a defense-based champion. He can kind of nuke to help out your Hydra Clan Boss team. I'm a big fan of the pig. Prince Kymar, A+. I mean, Kymar's amazing with Seal of Magic. He's amazing with for the arena, removing all buffs on all enemies, putting them to sleep as well. Just a great setup champion. Great for speed runs, obviously, as well. This one I have an Eagle. I have I guess I don't have 2 built anymore. I used to empower once I pulled Yumeko. But anyway, Eagle Eye, so we have a little bit of accuracy. We need a lot more accuracy if I'm going to start using him more often in the arena. The team I use him on right now has Madame Ceres as well, so I have 2 buff strippers on the team, so I can get by if he's not landing his sleep. The team is also speed tuned appropriately, so it's a little bit of a niche setup here. I do have immunity set on him as well. Let's go ahead and keep things moving here with Cupidus. Jeez, man. One of the strongest arena tandems in the game is Venus and Cupidus. One of the strongest clan boss, Hydra clan boss champions in the game is Cupidus. Flameout deals a ton of damage. They fixed his A2, so it's a straight up AoE. Improved the multipliers, I believe. He's always attacking always counterattacking whenever he's attacked when Venus is on the same team. Attacks 25% more damage as well. So one of the best tandems in the game when put together is Cupidus and Venus. I'll give him an A-. By himself, he's still really solid, but together he's like an A+. It's insane, that passive when it's triggered. Next up, we're going to have Lord Shazar. Lord Shazar, it's weird, man. Nothing against Lord Shazar at all. The best arena aura in the game, 32% speed in terms of speed auras. He's got a great decrease in bomb detonation. He has increased attack, he has block debuffs, and then he grants an extra turn, which is great. Increased attack specifically, because that's so imperative to have on a bomb champion, because that's what's going to dictate the bomb damage. He has a triple hitter on his A1 too, so a great champion, great kit. I'm going to give him a B+, maybe an A-. He's a great champ. I just like Gaius the Gleeful a little bit better, so I don't use him. But no offense, Lord Shazar. All right, next up is going to be Baron, the recently buffed Baron. Some people call it a nerf. I don't know, man. I call it a buff, personally. That's the side of the fence I'm on that one. What about you guys? Let me know if I'm wrong. But, man, Skypiercer being on not a secret skill and just being on a cooldown, and Trample actually significantly feels like it's dealing more damage as well. I can't believe they buffed him that much. But I love Baron now. Great arena nuker, great speed clearing with the A1 still trample. I just really, really, really like Baron. So I'm going to give him an A. Now I think he's that good. He also brings to the table a decreased defense for 2 turns. The debuff is guaranteed on the A2, and then Righteous Charge, a hard-hitting single target on the A3. So just all about the damage on Baron. Next up is going to be Gomlock Skyhide. So he has a chance of stealing 2 random buffs, decreasing target's turn meter, blah, 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 on the A2. On the A3 is a ×2 hitter with decreased defense and weaken, but he has to have full HP. I hate that conditionality out of this champion. It's on a 4-turn cooldown as well. I'm not a massive fan of Gomlock Skyhide. I'm going to give him a Skyhide. I'm going to go ahead and give him a D, especially since I really want Plarium to buff him. So, no offense, Gomlock, but I feel like we can do a lot better. Tamesia. Now we're talking now. Now we're cooking with fire here, guys. She has an AoE burn, 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. She also has a stun for 1 turn on targets with more than 50% turn meter, decreased speed if they have less. Great control and damage dealing ability all built into one. And this Burning Regret damage scales up how many HPE burns are in the battle. Just a lot of damage from Tamesia. She's another one of my favorite Hydra Clan Boss DPS champions out there. Great for Spider, great for anywhere that you need just an insanely good burner on your your team. She's Void Affinity 2. Whenever an ally or an enemy is under HP burn, this champion's immune to CC. Whenever an ally receives a freeze, has a chance of replacing with HP burn instead, cannot be blocked or removed. Very interesting kit, very dynamic kit, and I'm a big fan of this champion. However, I do need to rework her gear a little bit. I haven't used her in about a month or two. Krisk A+. Did I say A+? A+ on Tunisia. A+ on Krisk, obviously. Not going to spend a ton of time going over Krisk the Ageless. What a great champion. AoE, another AoE. Extend the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. Makes him so valuable. Also has continuous heals on himself. Ally Protect on everybody else. Provoking everybody. Increased defense on himself. Increased speed. He's got the shield. He's got decreased defense and the decreased attack every time he is hit on the attacker. I mean, what more do you want out of a freaking champion? I have Brimstone on him as well. Just what a great champ, dude. I have him in stalwart gear. I'm really not happy with this build right now. I kind of rebuilt him a few times, and I just kind of threw this gear on him, but I really want to maximize even his crit rate. I want him to do a little bit more damage because I am relying him on those longer battles in Hydra, so I do need to rebuild him, but still just an amazing champion. We have Hegemon. I love Hegemon, man. I pulled him recently. I have him an all-out nuke build, so I have him with not much speed. He's going first anyway, right? The idea behind him is try to get as much accuracy and then get some nukage down and soften up the targets for Hefrak, who's also on the same team. Always goes first each round, and then he has the block active skills decrease attack on the crippling cold, which sometimes we can kill people. We also have Soul Reap here as the blessing on Hegemon. I'll give him an A+. I mean, in terms of, he's a little niche, right? Arena God, but he does so well at what he does. Hefrak A+, man. I mean, he's my favorite nuker right now in the game. Absolutely love this champion. I have him with 6k on the attack, 195, some crit rate, some crit damage. He's on a go second team with Hegemon. He's instantly activating this A2 ability, Hefrak Scorn, whenever anybody dies vis-a-vis the Prince of Pride passive. Just an insane synergy here. He has a self-buffing ability with an extra turn as well, more crit rate, more increased attack. So arguably, we could get by with 70% crit rate on this champion. However, we're sometimes just killing everybody after they kill Hegemon, who's a squishy champion on the team. Have him with Necret as well, protecting Hefrak. So, long story short, is sometimes he doesn't even get a turn, but he's still killing everybody because of the trigger on the passive. So that's why I have him at 100%. Helm Smasher Mastery, love this guy. Lady Kimmy, A+. Again, Lady Kim is one of the best champions in the game. She's fast. She's got amazing base stats, and it just keeps getting better. On the A1, she's got turn meter control. On the A2, we got decreased accuracy, decreased speed, also decreased target's turn meter, all on a 3-turn cooldown with an AoE attack. 4-turn cooldown, we're removing a buff from each enemy. 100% chance of placing block buffs on enemies who have buffs removed. Also fills turn meter of all allies, plays increased accuracy, increased speed in all allies. I mean, what an insane champion. Whenever this champion places a debuff on an enemy, decreases that enemy's turn meter. Whenever this champion or ally receives the buff, fills their turn meter by 5% for each debuff received. I have Temporal Chains on her, man. What a friggin' champ. I have her built really fast, 331 on the speed. Little bit of damage out of her as well, because I do use her in Hydra and the Arena. There's a little bit more of an Arena build, but it depends on how you want to use Lady Kimmy. The thing is you can use Lady Kimmy pretty much everywhere in the game. Really good champion. Yumeko A+ again here, guys. Sorry, I feel like a broken record, but I mean, Yumeko's really freaking good. Stealing turn meter. She's got the chance of deflecting buffs with the Hex, and then she has decreased the cooldown of all ally skills and increased the cooldown of all enemy skills by 3 turns on a 5-turn cooldown. Man, oh man, oh man. I've said it before, but it's a little bit of Warlord mixed with a little bit of Kymar, all in the same Dance of Time ability. One of the more powerful abilities inside the entire game for my money. Have her built with a lot of accuracy and a decent amount of speed, 274, 638 on the accuracy. Running a champion like her with Lady Kimmy, great, because you start out with the increased speed, increased accuracy, and Lady Kimmy, go right into Yumeko, you put their skills on cooldown, and then you reset all ally skills as well. Shazar. Dude, this dude, I'm in love with this guy, man. I'm in love with this guy. It's a little crush I have, guys. A little crush I've developed. 223, 97, 260, 388. He's great, man. He deals a lot of damage and is a debuffer, right? So he has a poison First had a chance of placing a poison debuff for 4 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Second hit, decreased defense for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, aka it's always up. Then we have a, what is this? Passive, right? Instantly attacks enemies with a default skill whenever they receive damage from poison. What? And then he has a sleep on his A1 as well. He can deal a ton of damage. He has attack in all battles as an aura. Man, what do I give this dude? I don't know, man. In terms of debuffers, he's a little squishy. 13k on the HP. His defense isn't that bad. But in terms of debuffers go, and damage dealers, he's a Void Legendary. This is how they ought to make Void Legendaries. I'll give him an A. Tempted to go A+, but I'm definitely going to go A+ on Mithrala Lightbane. I think she's one of the strongest champions in the entire game. Let's start with this little line here on her passive. She has some Petrification on Hex Synergy, but also increases champion's resistance based on how much accuracy she has. So you just load up her accuracy, 720, and then we're rocking, what, 870 on the resistance. That is insane. 3-turn cooldown, Hex on everybody, and AoE attack on everybody, increase defense, increase attack on all allies, the cleanse, and the strengthen and the shield on a 3-turn cooldown. Oh my word. She is a boss. Love me some Mithrala Lightbane. One of the best champions out there in the game, and luckily everybody can get their hands on her eventually. Constantine the Dayborn. Constantine, you grew on me, man. You grew on me a little bit. I'm going to give Constantine a B-. A B-. He is just a straight-up nuker, right? I mean, Rune Shatter, AoE attack. He's got Leech. He's got decreased defense, block active skills on this ability. Actually, my bad. He's ignoring 10% of defense for each of those debuffs on the attacker. My bad on that. And then he has Quietude. Hits really hard as well. Very, very good multipliers. And then enemies from certain factions, you can see, cannot be revived. So he has a little built-in deny revival there. It is predicated on the faction of the enemy that you're killing, though. So, you know, not as dependable as a champion like Inithwi Blood Twin, but he does hit harder than a champion like Inithwi Blood Twin. So, pretty good champion. I'm not sure if he's worthy of the Void Legendary status still, but, you know, if you're just looking for a nuker, you know, he's got you covered. Vlad, I'll give him a B. Vlad isn't as bad as everybody says he is. An AoE attack with a Leech, and then he has a 100% chance of stealing the turn meter, or 50% of the turn meter from champions under the Bannerlord, Sacred Order, or High Elf factions, 100% instead against targets not from those factions. This is a great ability. You're basically getting an extra turn oftentimes when you use this ability, and that's what makes this kit more compelling to me. Otherwise, it's just kind of like a meh kit for a legendary champion, but you can get a lot of damage out of this dude, and you can basically get back-to-back turns in some situations with that A2 ability. Leo, A+. I would say Hefrak, Trunda, and Leo are, you know, 3 of the top nukers in the game. You can argue a bunch of other champions in there as well, but I love Leo. Can't but be CC'd when he has this A2 off cooldown. It's a hard-hitting ability, but his A3 Awesome Roar hits incredibly hard. One of the better arena nukers, and he has a Skull Crown-like passive built in too. Plays an unkillable that preempts a fatal hit on the True Grit. So yeah, I mean, just an insanely good nuker in the game. We have him with some speed, some nukage, and that's about it, right? Helm Smasher on this guy as well. Tuana Rock, man. I wanted her so bad. She's a really solid champion. I only use her for Hydra right now, but she has 261 speed, building a little bit of tankage out of this champion, a little bit of resist. I have her in a Relentless set to get extra turns because her and Doom Priest, I love them in Relentless because you're removing buffs at the start of each turn. So getting a chance to remove 2 buffs is going to be great with Relentless synergy. She also has a debuff spread with a block buffs. It's not very dependable because you don't know, there could be 5 debuffs on the enemy, and you don't dictate which debuffs are spread. So I can't use her as a dependable block buffs champion, but she's good as kind of a supplementary block buffs champion for Hydra. She has increased defense and increased speed as well. I'll give her an A. Arguably A+, but I'll give her an A. Just a really good champion. Rio Bone Spear, A+, man. She brings every debuff known to man on a hard-hitting AoE attack, or I mean, it's single target. If this is an AoE, forget it. Game over. Rio Bone Spear wins the game. We get a stun, HP burn, decreased defense, weaken, decreased attack, decreased crit rate, all the big versions on a 3-turn cooldown. Then we have a cleanse and block debuffs for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Also heals by 35% of their max HP, a further 5% for each debuff removed from them. Makes her one of the better healers with that insane ability. And then receiving any debuff, instantly transfer them from this champion to the attacker on a 3-turn cooldown. What a great friggin' champion. Rio Bone Spear. I built her really, really fast. 273, a little bit of damage too. Cardial, A+. Again, I love Cardial. I wanted this guy for so long. I wanted him so bad, and I was lucky enough to pull him. This Angel Song's insanely good. Revive on death that cannot be removed. We got block debuffs for 2 turns, and a cleanse, right? Then we have an ally attack with increased crit rate, increased crit damage on the A3 ability. And then, well, you guys can read the synergy there with Sisia. We'll never get through this video if I read every word of all of these champions. I haven't built an immunity with a little bit of speed there right now. I'm not incredibly happy with this build. A little bit of resist there, 429 as well. I'd like to rebuild Cardial. How would you guys recommend? What would you guys do on Cardial? But we'll see. Carl the Scourge. So this guy is actually a pretty formidable nuker now. I have him in lifesteal. Ignore the gear that I have on him. I just kind of muled him with artifacts. But, you know, now this Glaciate actually deals a pretty significant amount of damage. 75% freeze. Chance increased to 100% with targets 75% or more turn meter. And the debuff cannot be resisted by targets 75% or more turn meter. So you get him going early enough with this Glaciate. Not only are you doing a ton of damage, but an unresistible freeze. That's pretty great. Just got to build them fast, right? So, yeah, Carl the Scourge. I'll give him a B+ now. I'll give him a B+ now. LMA. So, LMA gets a lot of hate. Don't ignore the gear, crap gear on her. I don't use her right now. But I love this champion, especially with the spooky kind of twitch she's got going on, guys. I love her. I love LMA. Playdate is one of the hardest hitting abilities in the game, single target. The thing is like she has this when revived, she'll get revenge and toys don't die and stuff like that. Cool champion. Aesthetically, she's super cool, but, you know, it's another single target nuker, I guess, at the end of the day, right? And there's not a compelling reason, in my estimation, to build her over a champion like, say, Krutaxa, you know? They're both void legendaries, but at least you can get back-to-back turns with Krutaxa. Can't get that with Little Miss Annie. But she's still a lot of fun, and I actually really like her, just, like, kind of messing around with her. So I'll give her a B-. I'd like to see a little buff to her, maybe. Ursaga, War Caller, we'll give her an A. Ally Protect and a Strengthen on a 3-turn cooldown. Strengthen on herself for 3 turns, which is good because you want to keep her alive. I have her in Stone Skin, 6-piece set, right? And then I love this Golden Guard. Decrease the damage all allies receive from critical hits by 30%. For the arena, that's a great damage mitigator. That's what makes her insane in the arena. This passive right here, Golden Guard. An AoE attack would decrease crit damage, decrease attack, or decrease speed, decrease defense, depending on their attack or their defense, what is higher. Again, I love her in Stone Skin. I have her really, really slow on a go second team with a decent amount of resist, a decent amount of defense, and a lot of HP as well. Actually went and got Bulwark as well. Decreased damage receive. I'll actually by 5%. She'll take that damage instead. So with the passive, she's eating 35% of damage. She's in Stone Skin. She's not going to feel it. You know, makes her an amazing arena champion. Good support champion other places as well. A. Vizix the Unbowed. A. Vizix is so good, man. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Just because she's free doesn't mean she's not good, right? I have her in Bloodthirst because you do have to keep her alive, right? She has a Provoke and an Ally Protect. That means she takes a ton of damage, man. She's eating up 50% of the damage all allies received while also provoking everybody, you know? So just got to be careful to keep her alive. That's why I like her in Lifesteal or Bloodthirst gear. Other than that, man, like great control with a decreased speed. This rework was really, really good. She's putting a shield on herself to help her keep alive as well. So we'll give her an A. Earl's the Soul Cage. A little bit niche of a champion, you know. This passive is so money, though, when it comes to soloing. Putting poisons every time he's hit is just so freaking good. I have him in a regen set, I think, right? Yeah, regen and immortal, so he can solo all kinds of Doom Tower bosses. He has Strengthen, Ally Protect on all allies as well on a 3-turn cooldown. I'm going to give him a A-. I think he's a tremendous champion. He's one of my favorite Doom Tower Secret Room champions. You guys know I complain all the time about the caliber of Doom Tower Secret Room champions. Coronar is great. I actually talked about a bunch about Coronar in a previous video, guys. This dude is a boss. I love him. I'm going to give him an A as well. AoE attack with turn meter control. He's got Provoke, on a 3-turn cooldown. He's got block debuffs, increased defense on himself. On the A3, we get decreased attack, decreased defense on targets, under decreased attack on a 4-turn cooldown, and then counterattacks when hit by enemies under decreased attack, decreased defense, decreased speed. Again, which he's bringing the 2 of those to the table already on his A3. That means more turn meter control out of the A1. He can deal some sneaky damage as well. Tormund the Cold will give him an A. I mean, great for the arena, but great in other areas as well as an AoE on the A1 with some freeze. He's removing all buffs from the target enemy, then attacking them there. Another AoE with block buffs, heal reduction if they're under freeze, chance of placing a provoke on enemies not under freeze, and then he has the freeze, annoying passive of Wintry Wind, and the revive effect as well. Very, very good champion. I really love this dude, man. I built him for a little bit of damage too, just a little bit added onto his kit there. So yeah, we could probably do a little bit better with this build, more accuracy, get that crit rate up to 100%, maybe a little bit faster too. So don't look at the gear I have. I have Perception of Frostbite. I guess I really wanted to try that Frost synergy. Frostbite is a set that not many people use that much, but overall an A on Tormund. Whirlum Frost King, I'm going to give him a A. I'm so high on Whirlum, you guys already know this. But dude, he has a freeze on the A1. He has a perk Veil or Veil on the A1 on the ally with lowest HP. He has a decreased crit damage, decreased attack that cannot be resisted, increased crit damage on all allies, on a hard-hitting defense AoE attack on a 3-turn cooldown, then strengthen and increase defense on the same ability on a 3-turn cooldown. That's incredibly good, man. Incredibly good champion. At defense and Doom Tower battles by 40% as well. So really, really like him. I have him built with some resist because I used to use him against Bombal. I no longer do, but just a lot of speed on this dude and survivability. You can get a little bit of damage off of him as well. Arbiter A. Arbiter, I mean, she's the queen of the arena still, right? She's got the increased attack, she's got the heal, she's got the turn meter fill, then she has more turn meter fill as well on Destiny's Call, not to mention the revival, reduce enemy duration of buffs. I have all my best speed gear on Arbiter. I actually can get a little bit more, probably can get this up to around 373 if I use some 6-star glyphs to get some speed gear improvements, but she is the fastest champion on my account. Venus, A+. Venus is my favorite debuffer right now in the game. Lydia is right there as well, but decreased defense and weaken and AoE HP burn and that synergy we talked about allows her to remove all buffs from all enemies and a chance of granting an extra turn if Cupidus is on the same team. Yeah, this is what makes them the dynamic duo that is owning Raid right now, especially even in the arena. Opening up, removing all buffs from all enemies if you need to, and then getting an extra turn coming in and debuffing everybody. That's absolutely insane. HP in all battles as well. And look at her base stats, 112 on speed, 22k on the HP. Can actually sneaky damage out of this A1 too, man. Sneaky damage. Hits pretty hard. Venus is so good. Sir Nick! Well, they did buff, nerf, excuse me, the Unkillable against the Iron Twins because before that, I would have given him probably an A, a little bit more utility there. I'm going to give him like an A-. Still a really good champion. Continuous heal all on a 4-turn cooldown, lasts for 2 turns as well. He has a shield as well, pretty decent shield. Great for, Ice Golem, areas like that. Sir Nick is an OG champion here, but a very good one, right? We have him built pretty fast, 276 speed. I had him speed tuned for a previous Iron Twins team. That's why I don't have the 100% crit rate or, don't ignore the stats on this one. But that's Sir Nick. We just mentioned Krutaxa. Let's mention her again, man. I don't use her right now, so ignore all these stats. I have no crit rate on her or whatever. Muling artifacts, but really good champion. You can kill somebody with Curse of Writhing, and then you take an extra turn, you kill somebody with the A1, right? Very hard-hitting A2, one of the hardest hitters out there in the game, and then you come back in, a quadruple hitter on the A1. You can take down like a Rodos, right? Ignore 50% of enemy defense. One of my favorite single-target damage dealers in the game. I'm going to give her an A. Also great on ally attack teams. Plus, she's bringing, what is this? Revive on death at start of each turn on this champion. Pretty cool. I'll give her an A. Gurgle the Augur. Man, Gurgo is kind of an underrated champion. It's a freeze debuff on the attacker for 1 turn when he loses 20% or more of his max HP on 1 attack. Kind of a cool passive, right? And then he can start a match out with Gurgo by removing 2 buffs from all enemies, then 100% chance of placing a freeze on all enemies. Then he gets an extra turn. He comes in here and he hits them extra if they have that freeze, which they pretty much always do. So I wouldn't call him super meta right now, but I think he's a pretty good void rare legendary champion. I'll call him an A-. A? You can't get much better than that in terms of a freeze champion, right? All right, Turvold. Oh, Turvold. Oh, one of the best raw damage dealers in the game. Let's give him an A-. He's on all the commercials too, right? So this Juggernaut hits so hard. It depends on the number of buffs on this champion as well, but great for clan boss damage dealing. One of the best out there for that reason. Solus is up next. I'm going to give him an A as well, man. I mean, one of the best the best defensive-based nuker in the game for my money. An AoE attack on Reign of Terror. He's increasing the duration of all debuffs on each target by 1 turn. Then plays a provoke on enemies for 1 turn. Shield on this champion. I mean, this is an insanely good opening move to use in the arena. Not even opening, I mean just like his opening move. Great nukage. You're killing everybody, and if you're not killing them, you're increasing the duration of all their debuffs, and you're provoking them. That's so freaking good. Wave of Despair hits hard as well. Big fan of Solus. I have Savage Gear on him right now, and you know, I could just stand to gain some accuracy and some crit damage on this build, and some defense and some speed. But you know, I don't have enough good gear to go around on every single champion, do I? Ethos, the great PvE nuker. You can use him PvP too, but especially PvE, I just have him in there, you know, just to help first clear on some waves. I find myself using Trunda a little bit more, so I don't use a ton of Ethos, but really Outburst. They actually buffed this, given the strong version of Weaken. It used to be the weak version, and then the Extinguished Life, always critical and always deals a ton of damage. Just one of the best nukers out there in the game. I'll give him an A. Blind Seer, pretty cool reviver. She has a 35% HP, which kind of sucks, and it's on a 5-turn cooldown, which kind of sucks, but they get at least block damage for 1 turn, so it's not the best revival out there, especially compared to some of the champions they're releasing lately. However, still a revival with block damage at the end of the day, right? She also has block debuffs and a shield on a 3-turn cooldown, so you could do a lot worse there. 3 times that random with turn meter decrease, and then one of the better defensive auras in all battles of the game, 34%. So I'm going to give her an A. I think she's a little bit of an underrated Void legendary champion. Finally get out of the Voids. Now we're in Deliana territory here. So Deliana was a free champion. Let me take a quick sip of water. All right, guys, so Deliana, an AoE with a leech on the A1, and then a decreased resistance if the target's under block buffs, has a debuff spread on the A2, and then another AoE with block buffs on the A3 ability. She's not a trash champion at all. Don't believe the hate, but she's not the strongest champion in the world either. I'm going to give her a C+, but again, as we said earlier, it all comes down to what you need. If you want a block buffs champion for Hydra, you don't have another option, go ahead and use her. I would prefer a champion like Umbral Enchantress, even with the AoE on her A1, because at least you get it for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown on the Immolate A2 ability. But still, she can serve utility. She can help you out in a stun set. I have her in a stun set, I think, for a showcase. But overall, C+ champion. Ultimate Death Knight, A+. I love UDK. I have him in a 6-piece stone set gear, 30% all battles on the defensive aura. What a great freaking champion. As a provoke, extra chance against legendaries. He can fear legendaries, which makes him great in the arena on the A2 ability, and AoE would decrease attack and the fear. What? And not to mention, he has a shield, the continuous heal, on the A3 on Get Comfy Everyone. He has this thing where he steals single target attacks, and he takes it instead, including the debuffs. Amazing stuff. And then didn't need him, where he's increasing his speed, his defense, and his HP by 10% for each dead ally. Makes him one of the best solo farmers in the game. We're talking level 25 dungeons. We're talking Minotaur's Labyrinth Masteries. Just one of the better champions out there, guys. Such a cool champion. I have him on a go second team in a very unique, super slow build, because I don't want him to be getting the stone skin off of him, right? I want him slow because I want that stone skin to last as long as possible, so you can soak up more hits with that A1 ability. I put out a guide on that build about a week or so ago. So A+. Chromax Moonblood, F! There we go. Took us about an hour, but we got there. First F. I hate this dude, man. And a single target block buffs and an AoE provoke on a 4-turn cooldown with decreased accuracy. He's not a freaking, he's a secret, it takes you like 3 years to get this dude, right? I exaggerate a little bit, but he's a Doom Tower Secret Room champion, and he's trash, man. By the time you get him, you have so many better options. Ugh. Just trash champion. Needs a buff so badly. Nari the Lucky, A-. I actually really like this dude. He has stealing over here. He's stealing on his passive. And then he's got an AoE with decreased accuracy and decreased resistance on a 3-turn cooldown. Really good ability here. And then he has a provoke on an AoE, 100% land rate with a counterattack. Eat that. Eat that, Chromax Moonblood. Really like Nari the Lucky. Next up is Borgard the Elder. I'll give him a B. I don't love him. I don't hate him. He has a remove buff from all allies and plays a shield on all allies. A pretty solid ability here in Soul of the Old Stone. And then he has increased resistance and increased speed. If this is on a 3-turn cooldown, I'd give him an A. But on a 4-turn cooldown, I'll give him a B. Allies receive 10% less damage from champions whose resistance is lower or equal to theirs, which does have a nice synergy between his A3 ability. I like him especially for, Bommel battles. So I have him built basically just kind of fast, and that's about it, right? A little bit of survivability as well. Glacius Soul Guide. You know what, guys? She has a block debuffs on all allies for 2 turn. Also an 80% freeze on all enemies. Fills her champion's turn meter by 15% for each freeze debuff placed by the skill. Everwinter is a great opening move for the arena, and her skills cannot be placed on cooldown. She can also block kind of the Warlord or the Mechos or the Bashers. She can block that for allies as well, 50% chance of denying that effect and putting a freeze on the attacker. So she's a little bit of a niche champion. She has an AoE weaken as well. But I actually like her. I have her built here with some accuracy to land those freezes and a little bit of speed as well. She has a really nice base defense at 1509. I'm going to give her a B just because she's a little bit, she's niche. She's a niche champion, but you can do a lot worse for an opening move here in the arena than Everwinter. This is like the kit that Pixneal should have had, right? And she have her immunity gear as well. We have Gerda Bogbrew. Did I give her a grade B? Gerda Bogbrew. Oh man, Gerda. Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. So I thought she was actually going to be a lot better than she was. An AoE weaken. After attack, she's placing poisons on enemies without the weaken. Okay. Then a chance of removing a buff from all enemies and then placing 2 poisons on all enemies. Remove 2 debuffs from all allies. 3-turn cooldown. Not an awful ability. She's not a super trash champion, but she's not very good. I'm going to give her a C+. I was hoping for a lot more out of this champion. You can definitely get utility out of her depending on where you are when you get her in the game, but she's not my favorite champion out there. What about you guys? Facile of the Seal, another champion who's just like, meh, an AoE True Fear with decreased attack. Not bad, I guess. Then balance the HP of all allies with an extra turn. It's a great heal. It's if you haven't seen this ability before, there's a lot of champions who have it. Sinesha comes to mind. Getting the extra turn makes him, pretty cool. I'll give him a B-. Not dealing a ton of damage. HP-based champion. For me, kind of a mad champion. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? We have Mother Cybele. I love her. Let's give her an A-. I don't know. An AoE decreased speed, 50% chance with turn meter fill on the A1. Now we're talking. Revive on death and increased defense on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. I love her for Hydra Clan Boss. This Uncanny Transfer is a little bit niche. It's swapping HP and placing it unkillable on the ally with a lower HP. But overall, I'm a big fan of Mother Cybele. She's got kind of a simple kit, but look at that speed aura too in all battles, 24%. I stand by the A-. I think that's a pretty good score for her. I have her built super fast at 308 with a little bit of damage too in the kit. All right, so next up we have Versov the Grim. Versov, Fragment Summon champion. Not trash, not the best. I'll give him a B. An AoE, extra hit on enemies under these CC debuffs. We're also placing a leash. He's doing a lot on this one ability, right? And then he has an increased defense and an ally protect on a 3-turn cooldown. You know what? I'm going to say B+. Screw that. This kit's a little bit better than I remember it being. So yeah, there he goes, guys. Eat that. B+. Versov the Grim. Not an awful champion. Hillier, I'm going to go B+ as well. I had such big expectations. This is kind of a life lesson for you guys. You go into a movie, you go into a TV show, you go into, who knows, a blind date, right? With high expectations, or a regular date for that matter. You go in with high expectations and you're bound to be let down. And that's what happened to me and Hillier. That's why I'm not giving him probably the A that he deserves. An AoE shield. The shield's not that strong, but it is on a 3-turn cooldown. Transfers all debuffs from all allies to a target enemy, then attacks that enemy with a default skill. Pretty good. He converts his resistance to accuracy. I'll just tell you this. Very good champion, right? No hate to Hillier. And great base stats, too. Look at that base defense. Really, really solid, right? The thing is, though, is he just wasn't... That shield was not as good as I was expecting. It was a lot worse. And it was a game of expectations there, guys. It was a game of expectations, and he was just... Yeah. His shield is not as good as Miscreated Monsters, also based on the damage dealt, right? For a defense-based champion with that much defense, I was hoping for a little bit better. But still... pretty cool kit, pretty unique kit, and overall a very, very good champion overall. We have Yoshi the Drunkard, man. I'm a Yoshi fan. I'm a Yoshi fan out there. I put out a video with him and the Gaius Gleeful team, arena team. Great synergy with any bomb champion. Increase attack, increase accuracy, the 2 stats that you need the most on those champions to start things out. You also have a chance of placing True Fear on all enemies. There's a 50-50 chance they lose their turn and their turn gets put, or their skill gets put on cooldown as well. Very, very good ability. 2-turn HP burn, decrease accuracy as well. I'll give him a B+, right? Also has speed in all battles by 19%. I'm a fan. Sissy of Flame Tongue, I'm going to give her A. One of my favorite damage dealers in the game. She has HP burn here for 3 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. Instant activation of said HP burn as well on the A2. Flame Eruption, and boy does it erupt. Boy, does it erupt. Also has a triple hitter with a chance of increasing duration of HP burn on the A1. Great synergy in her kit. She also had a cardio, tandem champion. Just a beast of a champion. I really, really love me some Sissia Flame Tongue A. Skull-Lord Vargal, I have him in a solo build right now with regeneration and immortal, some speed and a ton of HP, 100k. He's some of the best base stats in the game, guys. He has Strengthen, and he has a Provoke on a target enemy on a 2-turn cooldown. So, sneaky good Hydra Clan Boss Decay Provoker. Very sneaky good. Don't sleep on him there, guys. Also has an AoE decrease attack. So I gotta say, you might call me crazy. Go ahead and call me crazy in the comments. But I gotta say, Skull-Lord Vargal, A-, especially with the buffs and all those base stats, and with Hydra Clan Boss. I mean, you could do a lot worse. You could do a lot worse. Gerptuck Mossbeard. Gerptuck. I actually love me some Gerptuck as well. I think he's kind of an endgame champion. He's a champion that can help endgame players a little bit more than he can help, mid-game players, in my opinion. I have him built pretty fast, and he's there primarily for, he's got a 2-turn cooldown here, a cleanse from an ally, then a shield on that ally as well, or heals them, and a shield. That's a lot on a 2-turn cooldown, right? And then he has an AoE block buffs with extra damage from the poison on his passive. So again, very, very good, especially for the Hydra Clan Boss. I'm going to give him an A. Bracket Shifter number 2, we already talked about him. Thea the Tomb Angel. Listen, she's theoretically the hardest hitting champion in the game with the Hex Reaper. She's the first secret room champion you get from Doom Tower. Hard. It's still not there for me, right? It's still not quite there for me. But I will say that each critical hit decreases the cooldown of Not of This World on this A1 by 1 turn. Not of This World is an ability that gives her a perfect veil and then gets her an extra turn, ergo reducing the cooldown of the A2. So there's actually some really sneaky and cool synergy about reducing cooldowns stemming from the A1, leading to the extra turn of the A2, getting into more Hex Reapers on the or A3 to the A2. So overall, guys, I think she has True Fear as well. When an enemy loses 30% more than max HP, I think she's probably a B+ now. I really do. I talked a lot of smack about Thea, but she's grown on me. Mountain King, listen, I don't know. I'm just not the biggest Mountain King fan, right? There's other single target nukers out there that I like more than Mountain King. I'm not a hater, but I'm just not the biggest fan, right? He has a ton of HP, 31k on the HP, so you can put him in a shield set, good on a go second team, no doubt. Can definitely kill people with his enchanted axe. Single target, which is a little bit of a problem against champions like Rhodos or Leo or Skullcrown, stuff like that, right? But overall, I think he's probably a B champion, He's not trash, but he's not my favorite out there. Candyman Candraphon. So he is a beast. I really, really like this champion. I have him built in lethal with some crit rate, crit damage, just a lot of crit rate, crit damage, a lot of attack as well, right? This Butcher's Glee just does so much damage. One of the hardest hitting AoE nukes for the arena out there in the game. This guy is a stud, has a self-buffing ability, does more damage while he's under a veil or perfect veil as well. One of the hardest hitting A1s in the entire game as well. On Punish Hubris, that it certainly does. We'll give him an A. Vizier Ovilus. I don't know, Vizier, man, he used to be a beast. But the problem is, I'm going to give him, some of you guys are going to disagree with this, because, listen, this is a very unique A1 ability, right? So if we're just judging on his niche capabilities and his ability in the game, sure, he's great, But back in the day, not many people ran unkillable teams. They ran Vizier teams with the 50% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target up against the clan boss and just building those debuffs up, right? There's still some niche use cases even outside of clan boss for Vizier, but for me, it's been replaced a lot, and to a great extent, by unkillable teams, block damage teams. You know, that is the meta right now. So he took a step back after that. The rest of his kit isn't that compelling. I'm going to give him a C. But again, I mean, it all depends on what you need, right? If you need this, you know, you can use him in against Bommel as well. If you need the A1, then you need the A1. Then he's probably an A+ for you, right? Mighty Uko, ooh, A+. There it is. One of my favorite champions out there recently. He was a fragment summon, a beast of a champion. Decrease attack on an AoE on the A1. Another AoE. He's hitting every 2 times. Each hit removing 2 random buffs. So 4 buffs removed on this A2. That's enough 99% of the time, right? Places block buffs and decrease accuracy as well if they have no buffs after the attack, which they normally don't. And then he has block damage with the revive, increased speed, even if you're not reviving. And then he's stealing protected buffs all over the place, dude. What a great champion. What a great champion, man. Skinwalkers, they're beasts now, man. Added a lot of good Skinwalkers over the years. Speeding all battles by 20%, A+. Elder Scarg. Some of you guys freaking love Elder Scarg, don't you? I heard from the Angar fan club and the Elder Scarg fan club. Listen, he's got the increased defense on himself. He's got the fear on all enemies. He's got a true fear on targets under block damage. He places a decreased speed for 2 turns on targets under shield, and these debuffs cannot be resisted. Also places a provoke on legendary champions. I'll tell you what, one of the best provokers out there against legendary champions because of this insane ability. Triple hitter as well. An extra hit for each buff or debuff on the target. Can place up to 3 extra hits. HP burn. Listen, really cool kit. Underrated champion. I'm going to give him a B+. Yeah, and I feel pretty confident about that. A B+. Rowanus, Basilius Rowanus, also got a buff, guys. He has a triple hitter, deals decent damage. They improved the multipliers, ignores 50% of the target's defense, and he has an AoE guaranteed stun on a 4-turn cooldown. To me, though, you know, just having a 4-turn cooldown stun, I don't know. It's just not enough for me. I was excited to try him out, and he's not a trash champion. You know, I didn't even mastery him out. And you can kind of ignore the gear here. But he's just not my fave for whatever reason. I don't know why. I'm going to give him a C+. I just feel like, you know, just having an AoE stun that's not going to work against 90% of the bosses in the game isn't really enough to justify building a champion and booking them out, given how hard it is to come by in the game. But, you know, hate me if you want to. I'm just not a massive fan of Rowanus. Contra the Cyclone. I love me some Contra, guys. I have her in Reflex, because she's just insane in Reflex, right? She's placing all of these debuffs, hitting 3 times. Each hit 75% chance to place all these debuffs. And then that makes her one of the best provokers because she has a 75% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn on enemies under 5 or more debuffs at the start of this champion's turn. And she can place them on weak hits. She's also healing herself, doing all kinds of other stuff. I love Contra. I'll give her an A-. Robar, one of the heavy hitters in the game as well. They did buff him as well. They buffed his speed. We talked about that earlier on other champions. An AoE decreased defense and an AoE hard-hitting merciless assault ability on the A3. To me, he's just like a really, really hard-hitting war maiden. Is that insulting? I don't know. I'll give him a B. You know, if you're looking for a Force Affinity nuker, he can help you out, man, and be a great debuffer for you. But I feel like nukers or debuffers are kind of a dime a dozen. The same thing with nukers, right? And he's not necessarily the best at either. But that being said, he's still a pretty solid champion. Abyss, though, actually like a little bit better. I'll give her a B+, maybe even an A-, because this Mass Impalement hits Divine Wrath. Well, they both hit hard. She's bringing decreased defense too, like compared to Robar, right? I like her a lot better because both of her AoE attacks are just insane, a little bit more insane versus Robar. And this particular ability, Divine Wrath, man, this can nuke the daylights out of people. Like people sleep on this ability being one of the heavy hitters inside the entire game. Really, really love this ability. Really love this champion. B+. Shiramani. Shiramani's got a pretty cool A2. Heals an ally by 50%, one ally by 50% of their HP, and 20% on all the other allies, right? A continuous heal buff for 2 turns on targets with full HP afterwards. Pretty good heal ability. Keep in mind, it isn't single target. It is for the first one, but everybody gets healed with continuous heal on top of that. Then we have an AoE 100% freeze. Fills the champion's turn meter as well. I'm going to give her a B+. Big fan of Shiramani. Next up, we have Blood Gorge. He's got Decapitate ability, one of the heavy hitters out there, and you can deny revival on it as well. Man, really, really good ability, really hard-hitting ability. And AoE, put one of each target skills on cooldown. Hey, this hits hard too on the Raging Beast. I think he's a little bit of an underrated Force Affinity nuker out there in the game, guys. I'll give him a, what is it, decreased defense on his A1 too. I forgot he had that. I'll give him a B+, man. I don't know why, but people don't mention him when they talk about nukers, but he hits hard. I have him kind of half naked right now. Not really, but no chest piece. War Chief, I mean, just for Magma Dragon alone, I mean, this is a provoker. Provoke on the A1, provoke on the A2. You just keep him provoke the entire battle. That's it, right? And your reflex damage, and it doesn't deal really any damage when you're playing with him, but when you're playing against him, kind of like when you're playing against Mortu Mccabe and he perils you every time. There's tons of damage, right? He'll one-shot your seer or whatever, right? War Chief is a B champion in my estimation, but he's very good for provoking the Magma Dragon. Black Knight, I talked about this in a recent video, but I think he's super underrated, guys. Increased defense and continuous heal on a 2 freaking turn cooldown. I mean, that's all you need to know about him, right? Like, that's really, really solid. I'll give him a B+. B+. We have Goffreed Brassclad. I had him in a stone skin 6-piece, but I had to use the boots somewhere else, so apologies on that. Pretty cool champion, guys. He's got, I haven't booked him out yet either, or at least fully booked him out. He's got an AoE stun 100% on a 3-turn cooldown. Eat that, Basilius Ronus. And then he has increased defense on all allies, then removes any decreased defense, and weaken from all allies. So overall has this cool passive as well. You guys can read it. I'm going to give him a B+. I think he's a pretty cool champion. What about you guys? Shemnath, A-. The Statue of Liberty. I love her. I love her. Really, really cool. Humbled and Broken. It's a hard-hitting ability. Attacks everybody twice. The first hit removes all buffs. It's really cool. Second hit, ignoring some defense. Really cool to have a nuker, an arena nuker, who can also remove all buffs on the first hit, right? That's a really, really strong ability. I got to use her more often, man. Really got to use her more often. Very, very cool. Increases champion's accuracy by 10 for each buff on each enemy as well. Crit damage for each debuff on each enemy. Stacks up to 100% extra crit damage. You can really scale that out as well. I have her in lethal and perception. She's kind of tough to build because you want a lot of damage, but you also need a lot of accuracy, right? And you need some speed and some attack and stuff. So it's a tricky build, but I'm really, really a big fan of her. Helm Smasher on the mastery there. Holstring, the smoke monster. There he is in all his glory. Holstring wasn't quite as bad as I thought he was going to be, but he's still bad. I'm going to give him D. Sorry, Holstring. 3 times at random. He's ignoring defense on targets under Hex, certain affinities as well. A 4-time hitter on his A3 ability, and a 2-time hitter with increased attack on his A1. Listen, he's kind of cool. He deals a sneaky amount of damage. I will say that for him, right? He hits pretty hard and he hits a lot, right? So at least he's got that. But, you know, I have Giant Slayer because of the 3-time hitter and the 4-time hitter and 2-time hitter. But overall, you know, I mean, a multi-hit damage dealer who has some Hex synergy, right? Could do a lot better, I feel like. Opperden Clan Father. Listen, if you're looking for great healers, look no further, dude. He's a great healer. He really is. A little one-dimensional because you're just going to be healing, essentially. He does have an AoE attack. Not a lot of damage on this champion. He's got a heal and heals all allies under continuous heals more. And then he has block buffs. Heal reduction removed. And then he has a continuous heal, 2 of them. 2 big versions on 3-turn cooldown on all allies. 100% chance of removing another random debuff from all allies. Each time a continuous heal heals an ally, fills that ally's turn meter by 5%. So he's kind of cool. I'll give him a B. If you're looking for a healer, you know, you could do a lot worse. I have him in a Relentless set because more turns equals more heals from his abilities. All right, Alexander the Sharpshooter. It's my man Simple. So listen, man, I talked about this before, but spray down an AoE, decrease defense, a chance at landing weaken against certain tribes. Okay, whatever. Hits pretty hard, though, and Born to Win hits incredibly hard, removing all buffs from the target as well. You can one-shot a lot of enemies with the Born to Win, especially, again, if you go for the Orc or Organ tribe factions. He was a free champion. He's not the best champion out there in the game, but I'll tell you what, you could do a lot worse than him. I'll give him a B-, a B-. And I know that's way higher than most of you guys would probably grade him. Sigmund the High Shield, A. You guys know I'm a massive Sigmund fan. He has on his A1 removing shield, also chance of removing buffs, 100% chance when attacking bosses, and AoE times 2, 3-turn cooldown, 100% provoke, and then he has decreased attack as well. Dude, this is a really good ability, and then it keeps going here. 3-turn cooldown, a shield on all allies, and a strengthen on all allies. I mean, really good debuffer and support champion, all built into one. He has a 40% in Doom Tower defense as well. Really enjoy Sigmund the High Shield, a tremendous support champion. A. Danag Skull Reap. AoE attack, decrease accuracy, and true fear. Really kind of a niche champion for my money, but still a pretty cool champion, right? And he hits pretty hard as well. So a little bit of nukage going on. Battle flow hits really hard as well. And then he has his passive that grants an extra turn every time he kills an enemy from High Elf or Dark Elf. So in the arena, you can have a lot of fun with this champion. If you notice a High Elf or a Dark Elf on the enemy team, you can just pop them off. Kind of, you can go in with the A3, again, hits really hard. Or you can go, decrease the cooldown of this ability by 2 turns, fills your champion turn by 30% if it kills an enemy. So there's a lot of synergy there between this passive, the A3, and then going into the A2 on top of that. So again, a little bit niche for my money, but pretty cool champion. I'll give him a B. Basata. Really good champion in a vacuum, but the problem is it takes forever to get him. He's a Doom Tower Secret Room champion. AoE stun on a 4-turn cooldown. We have a strengthen and continuous heal on a 3-turn cooldown. Shield on allies with CC debuffs. And then every time an enemy is revived, he's going to put a stun on them that cannot be resisted on the passive. Pretty cool passive, pretty cool champion. Just takes forever to get him. By the time you get him, you probably have Lydia, who arguably is better in pretty much every way. So that's the problem there with Basatha, but in a vacuum, judging him, I'll give him an A-, you know? Pretty cool champ. Jintoro. Man, Jintoro is sneaky big damage dealer against Demon Lord clan boss guys. To me, he's a little bit one-dimensional, but he does have decreased defense and weaken on the same ability. Attacks 5 times every 4 times you use this ability. Really nasty, again, for Clan Boss. Stealing 100% turn meter on the A2 ability on top of that. All turn meter effects are mitigated when using them against him. Attacking all battles by 29%. Jintoro, I'll give him a B+. Give him a B+. Countess Lix. Oh, Countess Lix, very good champion. She's Astralon's tandem champion, not Sissia. They came out at the same time. Can't blame me. An AoE triple hitter attack. 100% chance of decreased speed. Also decreasing these enemies' turn meter by 10%. Great controllability, and then time dilation where placing a block active skills. Decreasing the cooldown of all ally skills gives the champion by 1 turn. Dude, really good champion. I'm going to give her an A-. Rocksim. Oof. You don't have to put on your red light. Okay, sorry guys. We have Relentless Rocksim here. Roxam is a pretty cool champion. He's got the AoE, decreased defense, and weaken, but when he's not under a veil, it's a single target. That makes him, for my money, just not very dependable. You know, really predicated on having a veil champion on the same team. It's easier, even though he does have that in his kit as well. So I would say probably a B- champion. Can deal a little bit of damage as well. Kind of a fun champ, but not one of my favorites. Pixneal will give her a... Oh, God. She has increased defense and a continuous heal, and then attacks enemies under freeze. Places a weaken on enemies under freeze. Not a bad ability, to be fair. The rest of her kit kind of sucks, though. 5-time at random with a freeze, small chance of freeze, 100% if they get 2 hits, who cares? They buffed her. It wasn't a good buff. D on Pixneal. But this ability, though, can help newer players out, certainly. Increase defense and continuous heal. You could do a lot worse on a 3-turn cooldown. Gaius. Ooh, Gaius, I hate you, man. I don't know why, but I hate this champion. I was so excited when I pulled Gaius originally. I mean, a good base stats, a lot of HP, a lot of defense, a lot of speed, but just didn't. I mean, this ability seems like it should be really good, but it's just not that good. You know, I was excited to try him out in the arena as well. Yeah, I'm gonna give him a C minus. Narma the Returned. Great clan boss champion. Decrease attack, got poison sensitivity as well. Chance of increasing the duration of 2 or 3 random debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn. But just, again, very niche, right? And as we talked about, unkillable and block damage, that's the meta right now for clan boss, not necessarily poison teams. Because of that, I'm going to give her like a C+. So the Dregs, A+, 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 A+. I might be a little bit biased, guys. She got the decreased speed on the A1. She got the stun, the control on the A2. She got the revive on a 4-turn cooldown. And then she got the heal at the start of each turn. Heals all allies, 10% at the start of every single one of her turns. I love her in Relentless, guys. Scylla Drakes is the best thing they ever added to this game. Saito. Saito's okay. I know a lot of you guys love Saito. He attacks one enemy, then all enemies except the initial target if there are 3 or more enemies alive. Can't it just be an AoE attack? Can't it just be a straight-up AoE attack? That's my only thing on Saito, you know? He does have this vendetta, very, very cool, ignoring 7.5 enemy defense each time this champion attacks the same target in consecutive attacks or turns, stacks up to 30%. The stack will be lost, though, and reset the champion target if this champion targets and attacks a different enemy. But, you know, pretty cool champion. I'll give him a B-, you know? Just not my favorite out there in the game. We have Foley. Foley, this video is going to go so long, guys. Sorry. Foley has a 4-time hitter on the A1, and then has a 4-time hitter on the A2, and then has an enemy killed by this skill on Sealed Fate cannot be revived. Great for Fire Knight, great for the arena. Not the hardest hitting ability ever in Sealed Fate, but if you can stack him up with enough attack and crit damage, you're going to be A-okay. He's also removing CC debuffs, gives a boost his turn meter instead, which can allow him to cut in line. Very annoying champion to go against. I think maybe even a little bit underrated. I'll give him an A-. Grohawk the Bloodied, guys. Grohawk got a buff as well. He has an AoE attack, filling his turn meter, and then he has Lord of War, now a 4-turn, used to be a 5-turn cooldown, stealing the entire turn meter of the target, and then placing a weaken. Listen, he's not the worst champion in the game anymore, you know, legendary, but he's still not that great. He does have speed and dungeons by 24%. His kit is kind of like Shield Guard, is an uncommon champion with a critical fills, or Khazar Depart, you know, a little bit better with the Lord of War, does hit hard too. I'll give him a C. Okay, we have Tyrant Lamore. Sorry, guys. Really cool champion. I just pulled him recently as an AoE HP burn, defense-based champion. It lasts 3 turns. Again, the HP burn, 100% land rate. You love to see it. Then he has ally protection and increased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. Damage, decreased damage inflicted by enemies under HP burn debuffs. So a great support and a great burner. We'll give him an A. Hackhorn Smash Lord, I talked about this before, guys. Blood Offering doesn't do enough damage for my money. And then this Rallying Bellow, great ability, but it really ought to be on a 3-turn cooldown. He deserves a buff. I'm going to give him a B-. You can do a lot worse for a cleanser out there, but, you know, there's epic cleansers who are on this level. I'd rather have Runekeeper Dazdurk than Hackhorn Smash Lord, okay? So I think for a legendary, it ought to just be a 3-turn cooldown there. Okay, next up is going to be Longbeard. I mean, Mausoleum Mage, right? Give me a Mausoleum Mage. But overall, he's not a trash champion. Longbeard, great ally attacker. Arguably the best blender comp ally attacker in the game. Increased damage inflicted by 20%. All 4 allies join in. He attacks too, and his multipliers are really, really good. A very hard-hitting A1 as well. Then he has Weaken on his A2 ability. So a pretty simple kit. A2, on, by the way, on a 2-turn cooldown. A pretty simple kit, but very, very effective at what he does. I'll give him an A-. Ignatius. Ignatius, defense-based nuker. He's bringing a stun on the A1, a provoke on the A2, and an HP burn that cannot be resisted on the A3 ability, granted on a 5-turn cooldown. Defense on all battles. I'll give him an A-. Big fan of Ignatius. Altan, I mentioned this before, guys, not to throw some shade at Altan. Nothing, he didn't do anything wrong to me, but he's not my favorite champion in the game. He used to be back in the day, but I think he's been power crept, guys. He's got increased defense. He hits pretty hard. He has a shield as well if he kills an enemy. I think the shield, get rid of the max HP, just make it a shield, you know? Just make it a shield. Revise a random ally every time he kills somebody. Defense in all battles, aura, great aura, 33%. And again, it's hard hitting A1 with decreased attack. Pretty good for clan boss. I'll give him a B-. I know some of you guys are going to disagree with that grade, but I got to be real with you guys too, right? Can't give everybody A+. Like I'm going to give Eleanor, my favorite poison combustor in the game. Deals damage from all poison debuffs instantly on all enemies. 4-turn cooldown. What a great champion. AoE poison. She's on all my speed teams for Fire Knight, for Dragon, and for Ice Golem. Really love Eleanor. Rushguard the Tower. Man, it's a shame that my man Helicap had to come and steal your thunder, dude. Zone of Protection, still good, right? Block damage for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. Not as good as Helicap, though. I'll give him a B. Been a little bit power creep, but still, if you're looking for a block damage on a 4-turn cooldown for 2 turns, you know, you've got your answer right here in Roshguard, right? Prince Kymar, we already talked about. I do have two Prince Kymars. Biggin. I like this guy. My first legendary I ever pulled on my account. Of course, I'm contractually obligated to say that every time I mention his name here on the channel. I'm in Savage Gear. He's got a hard-hitting A1, a hard-hitting A2, and a hard-hitting AoE on the A3 as well. Decreased target's turn meter. I really love Biggin. I think he's a little bit underrated, man. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but Helm Smasher was savage on this dude. I need to rebuild him as well. Don't ignore the crit rate. I don't really use him that much. But I'm going to give him an A-, man. He's just a great nuker. A great, fun nuker. He's like the upgraded version of Bellower, right? In some ways, with an AoE on every attack. I like him better than Ray, compared to another AoE legendary champion. Lord Champfort. Dude, he's a beast now, right? Got the decreased defense on his A1, on his A2, decreased accuracy and decreased attack. Great for the Iron Twins. And then he's placing a shield on this champion for at the start of each turn, and then decreased speed for 1 turn whenever an enemy attacks this champion. That's why he's great for the Iron Twins. I'll give him a B+, guys. This ability in itself, decreased accuracy and decreased attack, very, very good ability, right? Very good ability. All right, Walking Tomb Drain. He's got the AoE with the burn. Cannot be resisted a la Ignatius, right? On a 3-turn cooldown instead of a 5-turn cooldown. And then he has the equalized HP of all allies. We talked about that earlier. I think that Walking Tomb Drain is actually a pretty solid champion, man. I'm going to give him an A-. Ragash, oh, A+. One of my favorite champions they added this year. He has an increased defense on himself on his A1, why not? He is a defense-based nuker and debuffer. Has a decreased defense and a stun on a 3-turn cooldown. 100% stun. Are you kidding me? As if that's not enough, he's bringing increased speed and a strengthen to the table. Big versions. Perfect Veil on himself. Dude, this guy's very, very exceptionally good. Defense in all battles, A+++. All right, Bivald of the Thorn. I love this guy too. A. He's a really good champion, man. Really good champion. I'm tempted to go A+ on him too. I'm running him in Relentless with enough accuracy to land his debuffs on Hydra. Could probably stand to have a little bit more there. He is helped out by his masteries, but an AoE with a Provoke and a Leech, right? Strengthen on himself. On the A2, on the A3, attacks all enemies, damage increases for each debuff on the enemy, heals all allies, and places a shield on all allies as well. Man, this dude is doing a lot. I really, really like this champion. A. Nekmothar. Okay. I see how it is. We're doing all my favorite champions back to back to back to back. Nekmothar is A++. He really is, guys. Fills his champion's turn meter by 5% each time a debuff on an enemy is removed, transferred, or expires. His turn meter is getting filled like crazy the entire match. He has this A3, increased speed and turn meter filled by 30%, and then an extra turn. He has an AoE on the A2 with decreased speed and a leech 100%. He has an AoE on the A1 with decreased attack as well, 75% against targets under debuffs. Dude. On my best Hydra Clan Boss champion, A+. I love this little lizard, dude. Corrado Fox Hunter. Corrado hits hard. He has a 2-turn stun as well, and then he has a block active skills on an AoE. Listen, not the best fragment or fusion champion ever added to the game, but he's not as trashy as some people said he was in the beginning, in my opinion. I'm going to give him a B, you know, like really solid arena nuker, right? Tatura Rhymehide, now talking about solid champions, we've got the block debuffs that increase defense on a 3-turn cooldown, great ability, right? And then we have the perfect Veil and a shield on an AoE attack. And this dude, this high elf monster here, he actually deals a lot of damage too, man. Defense and Doom Tower battles by 35%, man. I'm a big fan of Tatura Rhymehide. A. Gamaran, not a big fan. I did a guide on Gamaran. Listen, very cool kit, very unique kit. I'm not going to read the whole entire thing, guys. You can target dead enemies and block revive and stuff like that. But I just don't like him, man. I mean, he's stealing buffs. He's given a buff spread. First champion added to the game with buff spread. That's kind of cool. But he doesn't... There just needs to be a little bit more for me on Gamaran. Conceptually, I love him. In practicality, when I maxed him and I tried him in a bunch of different areas, he wasn't making a big difference. He wasn't making a difference for me. So I'm going to give him a C. Raf Mccabe. Well, I said this all the way at the beginning of the video. Now I'm going to finally admit it for the first time, right? I haven't played Raf Mccabe, okay? I built him, haven't played him at all. He has an AoE provoke, 100% on 3-turn cooldown, also block damage. That's a really good ability on Stampede, right? Increased resistance and reflect damage on all allies. Okay. Resist is equalized by 50 whenever their active skills are not on cooldown. Okay. It has increasing the cooldown target skills on the A1. I don't know, guys. What do you think of this dude? What do you think of this dude? He's got pretty solid base stats. I'll give him a C+. Rorik Wormbane. And again, I haven't played him, so take that into consideration. Rorik Wormbane, I have played, and I'm just not a big fan of this dude. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. He's got a stun if you're fully depleting the target's turn meter on a 1 enemy 3-turn cooldown. Then he has another 1 enemy attack, ignoring defense, which is cool and stuff, but he's immune to stun. D. I'm just a hater of Rorik Wormbane. I think he's one of the most underwhelming legendaries, and I'd be pretty pissed off if I pulled him from a shard. Kyoku! One of my favorite Leggos out there, right? She's, you know, I feel like this is kind of cliche at this point, but one of the best tanks in the game, maybe the best tank in the game, right? She has, every time this champion is hit with a critical hit, heals all allies by 15% of their max HP, and then plays increased defense on all allies on a 4-turn cooldown. This is a passive, ladies and gentlemen. Ally Protect on all allies of this champion for 2 turns, and then a block damage buff on this champion for 3 turns, and grants an extra turn. Dude. An AoE decrease attack as well. I mean, she's so freaking good. After attacking 100% HP burn debuff on 2 turns, the enemies did not get the decreased attack. Okay. Man, she has the weaken as well. Defense in all battles as well. Just one of my favorite tanks out there in the game. A+. Cleopatra. Listen, man, after the buff, she deals some serious damage. Sky Punishment and Feather Barrage. So... You know, in short, if you're just looking for a nuker who you eventually get for free, Spirit Affinity who does a lot of damage, really it's Yannica or it's Cleopatra, right? Both of them, I would say, are Cleopatra. I like Yannica a little bit better because she gets 2 turns. Talk about her in a moment. But Cleo, I would give her a B. All right, next up, Varl the Destroyer. Not a big fan of Varl the Destroyer. An AoE with Weaken. Also plays decreased attack on enemies who receive weaken, okay, and then has the ignoring defense, decreases target's max HP on the Calamity Torrent, his A3 ability. I don't know, guys. He has that increased attack stacked up, resets each round though. On Mass Murder, kind of cool in concept, but doesn't deal as much damage as I was hoping for. That's why I have him half naked. We will give him a C-. Rule the Huntmaster. This guy can nuke, man. He can nuke. He can really nuke. Very cool. Every champion they add with Hex, he gets a little bit better. A little bit better. Decrease speed of enemies under Hex by 5%, decrease the resistance by 10%, increases the amount of damage they receive by 10%, and reduces their heals by 30%, right? So really cool passive for a Hex champion, and Unleash the Hunt deals a lot of damage, okay? Also has increased accuracy on all allies on a 4-turn cooldown. Listen, pretty cool champion. I'm going to give him a B+. Genzin. Really fun debuffer, guys. I'm going to give him an A-. An AoE decreased defense with turn meter fill. Turn meter fill here as well. Fated Vengeance hits pretty hard. Triple hitter with more turn meter fill. So he just keeps going and going and going and going and going like the Energizer freaking bunny, man. He's a really cool champion. A-. Iron Brago, the 3-turn increased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. Also stunning. Also provoking. Also dealing a lot of damage for a defense-based champion. A good defense nuker out there as well. He was a fragment summon way back in the day, and he has Doom Tower Battles aura by 34%. Really solid champion. Big fan of Iron Brago. I'll give him an A. Vergamkar. Vergamkar removes all provokes, and then a random debuff, increased defense on allies who have debuffs removed, and a shield. I hate the conditionality of this ability. You can tell it's a reoccurring theme here. I haven't played a ton of Vergamkar, but I don't know, guys. An AoE, heal reduction, decreased defense on enemies who have 2 buffs removed. Chance of removing 2 buffs from each enemy. I don't know, man. I think that he needs a buff. I think he needs a buff. He's not trash champion, and he barely can fit on the screen, this big slug of a dude. But, man, isn't he? He's fun to look at least. I mean, look at this dude. Whoa, bro. Nice nose ring, man. I'll give him a C. I'll give him a C. All right, Draco the Gaunt, right? People used to throw a lot of shade at this dude, too. He has increased attack, increased defense on the same skill on a 3-turn cooldown. Only a few champions in the game. I think Gizkar, Mithrala, who have this ability, doesn't... Am I correct? No, increase and decrease on Ursula, right? It's increase and decrease attack. We have block damage as well on allies with less than 30% HP. Not a bad ability, to be fair, here on the A2. Then we have this shield. Heals when the shield is broken or removed. It's not a bad support ability here on the A3. I heard it was broken at one point or glitched at one point, so I'm not sure if it's working. I guess that depends. His score is going to depend largely on that. I don't use him personally anymore, but for a support champion, you can do a lot worse. I'll give him a B-. Harvest Jack. You guys know I love me some Harvest Jack. I have him in a very specific build with a ton of HP with a bolster set on, guys. Bolster was made for this champion. Protected ally shield 30%. Great for a go second team. Really love Harvest Jack, dude. Such an annoying and very, very cool A2 and AoE attack with block buffs. For 2 turns on targets under fear, removes any increased attack, places a decreased attack, removes continuous heal, places a poison instead. And then he has that true fear and decreased speed and turn meter depletion and sleep if it's not placed, all on the Lord of Terror. It's a great arena opening move. I'm going to give him a B+, although he's personally one of my favorite champions out there. Yamaka, I'm going to give her an A. I really love how you can come in here, place a perfect veil on her, kill somebody hypothetically, and then grant an extra turn, come in with the Elven Judgment, ignore shields on a hard-hitting A3 attack. That's why I like her. The chance of the double turn like that, not the chance, the double turn like that is why I like her just a little bit better than Cleopatrix. They're both great champions, though. She also has an AoE on the A2 as well. Attacks all enemies 2 times instead if the target is under, if this champion is under a veil, which again, she's placing on herself, right? So very, very cool champion. I'm a big fan of Yannicka. Nogdar the Headhunter, man. Nogdar, talk about the Energizer Bunny. We talk about Genzen. Gonna talk about Nogdar. And AoE, sacrificing HP. You put him in basically, you need to put this champion in a frenzy set. He's still not the best champion in the world, but he can deal a lot of damage, and you can have a lot of fun with this champion because he's sacrificing so much HP that he's filling his turn meter and just going and going and going. He's very squishy. 1200 on the base HP, but it doesn't matter because every time he dies, he instantly revives himself with 50% HP and 50% turn meter if all the other allies are alive. So really fun damage dealer, but you know, really, really niche. I'll give him a B-. Suzerain Katon has an AoE on the A1 with decreased speed. You love to see it. Another AoE with weaken and decreased defense if weaken is not placed. I don't really like this ability. I just don't like it. If it was 3-turn cooldown, I like it a lot more, but it's a 75% chance of placing a weaken. If not, we get the decreased defense. So, you know, it's not really dependable to get either of these things, but you're going to get one of them, which doesn't, you know, suit very well to what kind of champion you're trying to pair this with. What I like to do is run Suzerain Katon on a squad with another more dependable debuffer, and this is just bonus, you know? And then we have removal of shield block damage, unkillable, and then attacks all enemies. So an AoE, an AoE, and an AoE in the kit, and attack in all battles. Pretty good for Hydra. I don't really use him anymore. I would say a B on Suzerain Katon. Theodore the Savant. I mean, this dude's the king of the speed runs. I really love this champion, guys. Let's take a look at the kit here. I have him in Relentless Gear. An AoE with decreased speed on the A1. 100% when booked, placing 2 poisons, poison sensitivity on all enemies. Also increase speed while we're at it on all allies, sure. Increase the duration of all poison and HP burn, then instantly activates them on each enemy. Places a weaken as well on enemies not under those debuffs on a 3-turn cooldown. Man, oh man, oh man. He is also on my poison teams that I talked about with Tomb Lord and Eleanor. Very, very good speed run champion. Even having the AoE decrease speed with the increased speed, you can use him in like Hydra. You can use him anywhere pretty much in the game. All right, Shamrock. All right, guys, Shamrock. Ooh. I like Shamrock. I think the Lucky Charm is a great ability, right? Increased defense, increased speed on allies with more than 50% HP with more than crit rate as well. Revive on death and continuous heal on allies with lower than 50% HP. So he gives you what you need. He also has decreased speed on all enemies, so good for control. And decrease the turn meter while you're at it by 15%. Fills the turn meter of all allies if any enemy's turn meter is under 50%. I'm going to give Shamrock, and he's very fast too. His base stats are on point. Look at this. 111 speed, 20k on the HP. I'm going to give him a B+. Royal Huntsman. Now, I like this guy a lot better than Rowanus. Both high elves, both like kind of a similar kit. Dead aim though, ignore 100% defense. You can pop off pretty much anybody in the arena with this ability. And AoE decreased defense as well if the attack is critical. Really solid debuffer, really solid damage dealer. But you know, again, I'd rather have a Stag Knight, right? Give me a decreased attack and decreased defense on the same ability, and you know, spare a little bit of the damage. Give me the decreased speed on the A1. So it's weird to rather have another epic Spirit Affinity debuffer versus a legendary, personally. So for that, I'll give him a B. All right, we have Richtof the Bold. I like Richtof, man. He's a pretty cool champion. He has an AoE on his A1 with decreased target's match HP, and then he has 3 poisons on all enemies on a 3-turn cooldown, and then more damage for each poison on the target. Really good for Dragon, but also kind of a niche champion. You can use him against Scare King, I guess, but really, it's not enough on just the A1 ability. I wish he had some decreased enemy max HP on every ability, just give him a little bit extra use case. I'll give him a B. All right, Valkyrie. A+, right? An AoE with shield in counterattack. Shield is 3 turns, the best shield in the game. Her base defense is almost 1600, and this jealousy is really great too for cutting in line. So annoying in the arena. Just a tremendous, tremendous champion. You guys already know, right? Champion's turn meter will be increased by 10% each time an enemy champion places a buff. Each enemy champions will have their turn meters decreased by 10% for each buff they receive. Oh, she's so good. She's so freaking good. Still one of the best champions in the game. Ghostborn. Ghostborn, man, I love you, Ghostborn. He has a decreased defense that cannot be resisted. You love to see it, right? Love to see it. He also deals a decent amount of damage on both of his attacks, his Petrify and his Ancestral Spirits ability. And he has decreased defense on his A1 as well. Why not, right? I think he's a pretty cool, but albeit a little bit of a niche champion. Fun for the arena. You know, it can't be resisted. The decreased defense. If you want a debuffer whose debuff cannot be resisted, albeit on a 4-turn cooldown, look no further. So again, we'll give him a B+. B+ on Ghostborn. Martyr. Martyr is the 3rd counterattack champion in the game with increased defense and a counterattack, also a provoke with a decreased attack. She's a really, really good champion, guys. She got decreased defense on the A1 as well, and 33% defense in all battles, whether we're talking clan boss, whether we're talking Hydra clan boss, support anywhere in the game, counterattack champion. You know, Martyr's got you covered. She's a really, really good champion. She's an OG in the game here. I kind of have her in a weird build right now with a regen set with a lot of speed on her. I guess it's okay. I'll give her an A. Queen Ava. I don't know, man. D. No hate, but I've said this before. Energy Drain's great for a campaign farmer, but, you know, there's a rare champion who can campaign farm better than she can Fellhound, you know? So a little bit faster, 1 second faster, you know? Because I ran Queen Ava for like years, and I finally made the switch, and I was like, okay, why not do this sooner, you know? And other than that, she's really niche, like maybe Faction Wars damage dealer. That's about it. With all that said, I'm going to give her, I guess a D. Am I being too harsh there on the D? I don't know. Septimus. Septimus. Now we're talking, man. This dude does a lot of damage, guys. Enemy max HP on the Holy Sword attacks one enemy. Dude, you can one-shot level 20 Spider with this dude. That's how strong this attack is, this Holy Sword. He also has each attack has 30% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. Damage inflicted by each attack increased by 30% if this champion's current HP is over 50%. So Giant Killer works really well as well. well. Extra turns on his A1 if he's killing somebody with Behead. A great enemy max HP champion. Lugan the Steadfast, the last legendary that I have to review in today's extra long, jam-packed video. Props to you guys who watched all the way till the end. Did you watch all the way through this? And did you watch all the way through this without putting it on double time or time and a half? If so, massive love to you guys. All right, we have increased defense and ally protection on 3-turn cooldown. Then we have an AoE block active skills, damage based on HP. They gave him a really big buff, and now he's a very underrated and superb support champion out there inside the game. I will give him an A, Lugan the Steadfast. You're very underrated, you Bumblebee, you. All right, guys, there it is. That's all. No, I'm sorry, Astrolith. I'm sorry. Good for Bommel because the bombs cannot be a one-turn detonation, and they can't be resisted, right? But a super niche champion with all that said, I will give her a... Oh, man. I don't know. Speed in arenas. I'll give her... I mean, she has use for this one ability, but that's it. To me, that's it. So I'm going to give her a C+. C+. Now we can end the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.